Talked about this before. Creativity breeds creativity. You can't help it. When you start thinking about one thing, you go on to thinking about other things. They have knock-on effects. There's just nothing you can do about it. So I was making a video on the purpose of life because I'm just about to go to Australia. And that set me thinking about other things, as it often does. And rather than clutter up that video with some of the other thoughts, I thought I'd do another video with those thoughts. Now, I'm a great reader of a guy called Colin Wilson. Colin Wilson is a criminal psychologist. He looks at the deviant behaviour of the human mind in society, and he has some really interesting things to say about it, and he's probably well worth reading, particularly The Criminal History of Mankind, which I think is a great book. And in the book, he talks about something that he calls objectification. In order for somebody to kill somebody, they can't do it if they see that person as a person. What they have to do is see that person as a thing. If you can translate the person into a thing, you objectify them. If you objectify them, it becomes easy to kill them. Now, that seems a horrific subject to be talking about, but actually I think it's an important subject to be talking about because actually I think it's something we do all of the time. Now, if we look at an age-old argument, what is the difference between man and the animals? This is an important distinction, because if we can turn animals into things, if we can objectify them, then we can abuse them. And it's a relatively easy thing to do. The first arguments, of course, were that man had a soul and animals didn't. Later arguments came up with the idea that man uses tools and thinks, and animals don't. And we create this hierarchy. The reason we create this hierarchy is so that we can objectify. The reason we objectify is because given our social structure, we essentially need to, and this is a bit harsh, but we essentially need to rape the natural world to feed our consumerism. In order to do that, we must objectify. In order to objectify, there has to be a rationale. The rationale has been, man has a soul, animals don't, man is intelligent, animals aren't. And it goes along with my idea of the purpose of life. I'm saying that life has no purpose. It's just, I mean that in a specific way, incidentally. I don't mean the negative side of purpose. That is, you get rid of purpose, then you create a vacuum. I don't mean it that way. I mean that the way that we look at the purpose is the wrong way to look at it. We've got it on its head. The reason we've got it on its head is because we're busy strip mining the world. So if we get this idea of purpose out of the way, then man has a purpose and animals don't becomes just another way of objectifying the natural world for us. And because of that, it's very, very important. If we think that life is just life, that is, nature is and we're a part of it, it becomes very difficult to objectify. If we can't objectify it, we need to look at a different way of living our lives in relation with nature. If we objectify, living with nature is easy. We use it, we abuse it, and we cast it away. You don't need to look very far to see that that's actually the way we live our lives. Just take a trip to the nearest tip. Just go out to the Great Gyre and have a look at the plastic bags spinning endlessly in the ocean. You soon realise that's how we see things. If we swap that around, we say life is without purpose. Life is because life is, and we are a part of that world. Then that lack of ability to objectify means that we must look at different ways of doing things. We can no longer strip mine the world and dump it in the sea. We have to have a much more rational approach to things where we work in association with things rather than objectifying them, using, abusing, and casting them away. Anyway, I thought those thoughts were interesting. I hope you did too, and thank you very much for watching.